Not only did they appear, they did so in the closest field to my location, not more than 90 feet away from me, and entirely visible from the very bed that I was sleeping in.
Nancy Talbot and the hundreds of dedicated researchers like her have already proven the reality of the crop circles to their own satisfaction. But the quest for the origin of these magical, mysterious formations continues and takes us next to Great Britain. There in the countryside of Chilbolton in the summer of 2001, there appeared two astounding crop circles. Could they be, as some researchers believe, nothing less than a message representing contact from an extraterrestrial civilization? Is it possible that they are in fact a scientific reply to a long-distance call sent into space decades ago? Many researchers now believe that's exactly what occurred in the late summer of 2001. But the origins of this astounding celestial connection go back to the year 1974.
This was an amazing and challenging undertaking. Imagine the task trying to formulate a message that you can send via radio telescope that will go out to someone who can't even understand English and even comes from another planet. The message was designed to be sincere, straightforward and non-threatening, a form of simple hello from planet Earth. It was the first message sent with the express intention of communicating with an alien civilization somewhere. Devising this message became a task for a small group of academics at Cornell University, led by Frank Drake and the late Carl Sagan.
The message would be beamed into deep space from a 300-meter dish built into a mountain by the National Science Foundation at Arecibo, Puerto Rico, the most advanced radio telescope of the day. But in facing such a daunting task, just how do you decide what to put into the message, and in what form do you send it?
Early on, the Cornell scientists made two basic assumptions. One, if there was a distant civilization capable of receiving and decoding a basic message, that civilization had to be, at minimum, somewhat scientifically advanced. The second assumption was that if there was anything close to a universal language among scientifically advanced civilizations, it would have to be the language of mathematics. The message devised by Drake and Sagan took the form of a cleverly devised binary sequence. This Morse code-like message had to be easily recognizable by any alien scientist as being a message and not just the random noise of space. The Arecibo message that was eventually sent showed that our numbering system on Earth used a base of 10. This then became the means to deciphering the rest of the message. Another part of the coded message identified the atomic numbers for hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen and phosphorus, these being the most commonly occurring elements on our planet, the building blocks of human existence. Also included in the transmission was the molecular composition of human DNA, along with a depiction of the double helix DNA strand. The radio message also transmitted information about the human race, such as our form, the average height of humans, and also the population of Earth when the message was sent. One of the controversial inclusions in the message was the identification of our solar system as having 9 planets, and that this message was originating on the third planet from our Sun, the star at the centre of this solar system. The problem that some scientists had, along with government and military officials, was that of a security risk, in that if we transmit a message out into space, we don't know who's going to pick it up, be they a friend or a potential foe. Anyone can decode the message and possibly even come to visit. On November the 16th, 1974, the Arecibo message, consisting of 1,679 pulses of binary data, was transmitted into space and took a little under 3 minutes to transmit. This signal was repeated a number of times over the next few days. The message was aimed at what was thought to be our best hunch, a star cluster called M13, which consists of 300,000 stars in the constellation of Hercules. The Arecibo message was later transmitted on several more occasions. Also, a gold-plated plaque displaying a similar message was affixed to Pioneer 10 and 11, the first 2 NASA scientific spacecraft, whose trajectories would carry them beyond our solar system into unknown space.
The burning question being asked 27 years after the first Arecibo transmission was, have we in fact now received a reply in the form of a crop circle in the English countryside? In the intervening years, crop circles have become increasingly complex and have even contributed to new geometric theorems. Had someone, somewhere out there, received the message and created a response? Not all crop circles are discovered right away, and the fact is they are hardly ever expected to be related, even if they appear in adjoining fields. But all that changed in August of 2001.
Astronomers in the Chilbolton Radio Observatory were looking right out their front windows at what appeared to be binary code laid down in the wheat field. And only 5 days before, on August 14th, they had seen a shadow out in the field, and nobody had looked to see what it was. But by August 20th, with this binary code staring them in the face, so to speak, through the windows of the observatory, phone calls went out, people went up in airplanes, and what they saw startled everyone.
The Chilbolton Radio Telescope Complex was built in 1965, originally funded by Cornell University, the same institution where Carl Sagan and Frank Drake devised the Arecibo message. The facility is situated adjacent to privately owned lands and is surrounded by a high barbed wire fence. The crop markings were easily visible from the Chilbolton complex. It was far from an ideal location for any hoaxers to secretly carry out the making of two complex crop formations during the brief nighttime hours of summer. And what did investigators make of the markings? Was there evidence within the formation that suggested an extraterrestrial origin?
This is what was in the field out in front of the observatory, and this is what astronomers from Cornell University prepared to send out in binary code from the Arecibo Radio Observatory down in Puerto Rico on November 16, 1974.
A close examination showed that the two code formations were only similar, but not the same. So what were the significant differences of the patterns in the Chilbolton crop formation compared to the 1974 Arecibo transmission concerning the message's planet of origin?
Well, as you come up into where we had a solar system showing our sun over to the third planet is raised up, third planet from the sun, Earth, and we put a little humanoid figure up there and we indicated how high it was and the population. You come over into the photograph of the field in August of 2001, and here's the square for the sun. You come over 2 planets, and the third planet, the fourth planet, the fifth planet are all raised, as we did in our 74 transmission, indicating perhaps that something is saying we have 3 planets inhabited somewhere.
And what about the human figure represented in the original Arecibo code? How has the Chilbolton code responded to that part of the message?
You come to the same position that we indicated a human, and over here it is very odd. If this is a head, it's much, much larger than a human head, and it seems to indicate some kind of arms, a torso, and legs, but with a completely different layout compared to us.
Ultimately, there are 2 overriding questions. Have tricksters with PhD levels of knowledge about cellular biology pushed crop circle hoaxing far beyond previous levels of sophistication? Or have we finally seen the face of alien contact? Meanwhile, the investigation continues into the amazing pair of crop formations found at the beginning of the 21st century near the Chilbolton Observatory. For the ultimate answer, we can only look to the heavens and watch for new messages in the fields.